Well, welcome back, everyone. We have the famous Lindsey here from Johnny Appleseed, a naturalist, and we're going to be talking about trees today, some tree facts. Welcome, Lindsey.
Welcome. Thank you, Chris. So Arbor Day, we're going to celebrate that tomorrow. We've had a busy week of celebrating Earth things. Earth Day was Monday, and we're going to celebrate Arbor Day tomorrow. And Arbor Day is a holiday dedicated to celebrating all about trees. And it gets that name, Arbor Day, from the Latin for tree. And Arbor Day has some really interesting roots. So in the history of Arbor Day, it actually started in the late 1800s when settlers were moving west into the Great Plains from the eastern forests. And they figured out that plains don't support a lot of trees. So that was really a disadvantage for them because trees are going to be their primary source of fuel for fires. It's going to be the primary building material for their homestead. And that was really the inspiration behind celebrating Arbor Day. The very first Arbor Day was celebrated in 1872 in the Nebraska Territory, and over 1 million trees were planted on that day. It is estimated. So I wanted to share some really cool facts about trees because they're wonderful things to celebrate. They continue to be our primary building materials for homes and schools. We enjoy their shade, their nuts, seeds, and fruit. And of course, they support us with a lot of oxygen. So the very first cool thing that I think about trees is that trees belong to many different plant families. So this is, I had a naturalist told me that trees are a lifestyle. Trees are a lifestyle, right? So it sounds kind of silly, maybe a little strange, but what that means is, unlike the animal kingdom, where we're very familiar with putting birds in a group, and mammals in a group, and fish in a group, trees don't belong in any one group. There is not a group just called trees. So as an example here, if you're familiar with these honey locust spikes or black locust tree spikes and the bean pods, this tree family actually includes legumes like peanuts and soybeans. So there's not a group just of trees. They belong in multiple different families. Another cool fact about trees has to do with all of this celery here. Now, celery is not trees. That's not. I like celery. It's a plant. But trees are vascular plants. So they have a vasculature or vessels, just like you and I. They're just not called the same names. So we have arteries in our body that carry blood away from the heart, and we have veins that carry blood to our heart. In trees, there are vessels called xylem that carry water from the ground and the roots up through the tree to distribute it everywhere. And there's another tissue called phloem that takes the sugars from the leaves down the tree trunk to the rest. And when we teach this to the kiddos, we go like this, Chris. Xi to the sky. And we say, flow it down. Because that's how you keep them separate from each other. I like that. Now, celery is a really great way to visualize the xylem tubes, because you can see here, I've got 3 celery in the front that were placed in colored water, and the leaves have turned the color of the water here. And how did that do that? It was conducted up the xylem tubes. And if anyone has ever strung celery at home by cracking it, if you want to pick your favorite color here. Yeah, you said to use a tissue or something? Yes, this is really saturated color on your celery. Let's go for this big one. But you can try this at home, kind of blot off the end, and then try to crack it in the middle and string it so we can see. Oh, there, look at that. I got the string going. The xylem tubes are actually colored blue, and none of the rest of the tissue. So if you look at it in cross-section, when you try that at home, it's really simple. It takes overnight to do it. None of the rest of the stalk of the celery is colored except those xylem tubes. You can verify that there? I do. It's really cool. Really neat. Yeah. Now, the last interesting fact I know about trees I'd like to share, and you guys probably know it at home too, trees grow outward in growth rings. So have you ever aged a tree there with the tree? These are tree cookies, Chris. I love cookies. You love cookies? I never had tree cookies, but oh, they're made of wood. They're very woody there. But trees are plants that experience secondary growth. Plants, we're used to having them grow upward, primary growth, right? They grow taller, they grow longer, but trees grow outward. So they lay down a new layer of growth. They're actually laying down more xylem tubes every year. That's this tissue in their growth ring. So you can count the number of rings and age a tree and see all the different events that happened in the tree's life. And at the Park District, we like to celebrate Arbor Day, and we're going to be celebrating next Wednesday, May 1st at 11 a.m. Come out to the Park District at the amphitheater parking lot, Ottawa Metro Park, for a tree planting ceremony.
That'll be awesome. I love trees. It's always a good time to plant trees, especially right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The ground is pretty soft. It's warming up. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, shade trees, pine trees, fruit trees. You name it, we love our trees.
Yes,
and we love you, Lindsey. So thank you so much for joining us today. All right, well, don't go away because we have more when we return.